We're about to have what I consider a make or break meeting for the Amazon rainforest, creating the first bee corridor in our planet that starts at the heart of the Ashaninka territory in the deep Amazon jungle. The Amazon rainforest is facing so many challenges right now. The native bees of the Amazon pollinate at least 80% of the flora.
Este pico está bueno, quiere decir ya, ellas están contentas.
The threats that the stingless bees are facing are several. Deforestation, of course, pesticides, and foreign species that are invasive that have overtaken certain areas. It blows my mind that when we talk about protecting and regenerating the Amazon, how are we not talking about the life form that is literally allowing it to continue to live?
Mika does the best cocktails from the jungle. She grabs a passion fruit, stingless bee honey, and that's it. Oh, it's the best. Yeah, yeah.
I care so much about the Amazon because it's my home. I spent a lot of my childhood here.
Tiene 35 años mi planta, muy hermosa. Cada día le doy un beso.
My grandmother was born in a small town in the high Andes of Peru. And a few generations prior to her, our family come from the central high altitude Amazon. So they used to live semi-nomad style. Rainforest, being where they got their food and their medicine and their clothing and their materials from. I like to say that she was the first chemist I knew.
Cuando era niña, 3, 4 años, ella muy pegado a mí, me decía, mami, ¿qué estás haciendo? ¿Qué estás cocinando? Entonces mi niña era muy preguntona y tenía que contestarle y contarle todo. Y ella todo se lo había grabado en su mente, mira, de la planta.
My grandma's dream was to become a doctor. I am so aware of how she wouldn't have had opportunities to access higher education. I wanted to see the world that my grandmother was teaching me about, but I wanted to see through this genetic and biological and chemical lens. We conducted the first chemical analysis of stingless bee honey in Peru. We quickly noticed that these stingless bee honey contain hundreds of molecules from all of this incredible flora around them, their pollination network. I quickly saw, if you have stingless bees, you have a healthy Amazon. Each hive is protecting between 20 to 100,000 square meters of rainforest around. Because they were nowhere to be mentioned in the law, there was no action being done. I thought maybe the science could make people listen, and so we gathered all of the data that we had. Everybody was sending letters. We knocked on hundreds of doors and got nothing back. I definitely felt the ideas perhaps were ridiculed. I think especially when you come in quite young with some big ideas, I think I could see people's eyes just kind of fade and being like, aha, yeah, okay, that's nice. That's a nice idea. You go and do that. It's still to this day, I don't know what made me continue, except the fact that I want the rainforest to stay alive. As I dove farther in Western science or modern science, over time, I think I felt I started to disconnect from my own roots because I was not really allowing space myself to kind of honor the way I was brought up. So I did found it conflicting. I had literally one foot in both worlds, and yet these two worlds were just not communicating. I realized the role I play, I'm like a bridge between both knowledge systems. They are equal, they just see the world in different ways. And if they can work together, you can find solutions you couldn't otherwise. There's no way this could happen with modern science or traditional knowledge alone. Finding wild bees are a challenge. We don't know where they are or where they're nesting. How can we actually protect them? Most of them nest inside a hollow tree. So your only clue to find them, it's a tiny hole, which is the size of a coin. And they can be in giant tall trees. You have thousands of those trees around you. How do you find them? We learned that indigenous cultures have different ways to find them through such a high affinity to the natural world, which they have learned from their great-great-great-grandparents. That knowledge was passed down. The owner of this territory has herd bees, and so now we are in the area where the bees have been herd, so now we gotta go find them. So we're gonna enter deeper jungle. The territory is not easy. Oh, see, he's in more there. Aquí está. Neronto?
Neronto.
This is what our local colleagues are doing. They're finding the bees in these really high slopes, so we can get the data that nobody had yet.
Este es leche caspi, ¿temba?
Leche caspi. ¿Tienes el alcohol? Mira, para acá, clic. Para acá, clic. Para acá, hazle 1,000,000 de clics. ¿Ya? Okay. We had been fighting, I think, for 2.5 years to obtain legal rights for the stingless bees. The rights to be healthy, to have access to healthy flora, to not be contaminated, to be represented if needed by the indigenous communities that keep them safe. Just presenting our data. Look, this is the science of how the stingless bees are needed for the Amazon. They're native here. And look, this is the traditional knowledge. Look at all the communities that depend on the bees. Look at their testimonies, their perspectives. We had not heard back for ages. Some projects arrive to Congress and then just never get debated, and that's it. So I knew that was a possibility. And then with that, eventually, one of my team members calls me and they're like, turn on your computer. They're about to debate the law. And I'm like, nobody told us. They are debating about the bee law right now, saying if the Congress accepts for the law to change to legally recognize and protect stingless bees for the first time. Hold on. We managed to achieve what nobody had done yet, to obtain the first legal rights of an insect in the world. Everyone voted in favor. Everyone. And I was trying to process it and I just started bawling my eyes out. I think it was an accumulation of so much work.
And so the fact that it's actually been approved, it means a lot. And I think it's gonna do so much for the Amazon and the many communities that depend on these bees, and hopefully it's just a start to a lot of positive change.
With these legal rights, we are protecting at least 10 to 15 million bees, covering about 50,000 square kilometers of the rainforest. And then after that, I won the Rolex award. What came to my mind was scale. Now we can create a conservation corridor to protect the Amazon. CERNAN is the Services for Natural Protected Areas in Peru, and they play a key role in designating what areas are being protected. Today, to CERNAN, we will present the data that we have so far. I am hoping that they see the vision to save the bee and the rainforest. Entonces, esto me lleva pues a lo que venimos acá a conversar, de un corredor nacional de abejas, con la idea de que pueda escalar a partir de entonces. Our mission is to get to at least 100 million bees being protected and regenerated with this work. So we envision that the bee corridor reaches at least 200,000 square kilometers. Si CERNAN se gustaría sumar a esos esfuerzos.
Considero que sí, inclusive CERFOR también, ¿no? Tendríamos que estar los tres, ¿no?
Excelente, excelente. Muchísimas gracias con todos. Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
The meeting went great. The authorities wish to now scale this across all the national protected areas in Peru. So we're really excited because we have the capabilities to do that now. We have the methods, we have the materials, and we have the people. So yeah, we're now gonna get to work. Every little win is one to take us to the larger mission to save the Amazon. There, right between the base of this tree.
Todos somos felices, orgullosos. Se ha dado la vuelta todo el mundo.
Gracias por compartir nuestras ideas.
There's a whole new momentum happening for the Amazon with the bees, and we're leading it, and that feels really special.
Muchas gracias, más bien.